Hi, it's Michael, and welcome to the podcast. Your frequency is what you frequently see. This is not my quote. I'm not quite sure who came up with it, but I heard it recently, and it really resonated with me, literally. And so I wanted to bring this up and talk about this because I think it's really valuable, not just to athletic performance, but for just having a great life in general. Recently, I caught myself getting sucked up in the news, which happens to me from time to time. I try to be really disciplined, but I got sucked up in the news, watching some just really kind of junk food social media, and found myself thinking negatively and like sleeping in and just like falling into this kind of a little bit of a funk for the last week. And I realized that there's a direct correlation between the amount of just crap I was watching on TV and looking at some just stupid social media. And so it got me thinking about frequency. And what I did, my antidote was, is I just started listening to some really positive YouTube podcasts that really cheered me up and got me tuned back into a higher positive frequency. And then I was thinking about that quote, your frequency is what you frequently see, meaning what you focus on. It's just kind of like diet. Like if you eat really good food, you're going to be generally healthier. That's kind of the way it works. And it's the same with what you feed your mind. So, frequency is real. You can get positive or negative vibes from people. This has actually been measured with something called a SQUID, an SQUID magnetometer, which detects very, very minute electromagnetic energy. It comes off of people. I'm not sure if you can sense that from people or not, but to be real, you can basically get a good or a bad vibe or a neutral vibe off of somebody based on their posture, their facial expressions, the kind of language they use, etc. Like you're pretty in tune to that. So I want to give you today some just real good strategies you can use to increase your positive frequency. And the benefits of that, well, I mean, they're pretty obvious, but let's talk about them real quick. Better mental health, better physical health. Like if you are negative and you're stressed out, your body produces more cortisol, your heart rate increases, you have more inflammation, like this is true. And the more you do that day after day after day, it's going to affect your physical health in a negative way. It's also going to affect your mental health in a negative way if you have a negative diet of low frequency stuff in your life, either people or media, etc. So I want to give you today some real world strategies you can use to increase your positive frequency. It's going to get you better athletic results and just make you happier in general. So let me give you some strategies here. So number one is think about your peer group. Okay, so are the people that you hang out with mostly, are they generous? Are they friendly? Do they have a sense of humor? Are they confident? These are high frequency kind of characteristics. And I'm not like saying people are better than other people. I'm just saying like if you hang around people that just generally have a good vibe and make you happy, that's going to be good for you. You're going to focus on positivity more. You're going to have better mental and physical health. And for athletes out there, your peer group is super important. If you have maybe teammates or other people in your life who are pretty negative, no matter how disciplined you are, how focused you are, it's going to affect you because you're human. That's just basically the way it works. So if your peer group they're complaining a lot, or they're self-critical, or they're critical of you, or they have a lot of anger, or they have a lot of excuses, just kind of a negative vibe, that's going to affect you. It's like a diet. So the more you hang around with positive people, that's going to affect you. The more you hang around with negative people, that's going to affect you. Now, there's certain folks in your life, maybe family members, who are negative. I think we all, in our family or our friend group, there's a couple folks where it's just challenging to be around. It doesn't mean that you cut them out of your life at all. I'm not saying that. Have compassion for them. Be nice, and at the same time, don't feel like you need to be their therapist or that you need to fix them and put all of your energy into them. Like you can have boundaries with people and still love them at the same time. It's okay to do that. Okay. So those are the two big things really, is like positive peer group and negative peer group. The other thing I would say is, and I mentioned this at the beginning, is the news and social media. So think about, I don't know the exact statistic, but the amount of time like a 15-year-old spends on social media these days. I mean, I think it's some ungodly amount of time, like 6 hours a day. I don't know, but that's ridiculous. And just like I got caught up in it, and I'm trained in psychology and I try to walk the walk, but boy, the stuff is powerful. It's really powerful. Stop watching the news. Just stop. Like, it's not going to change anything if you stop watching the news. Like, you're not the president, you're not in Congress. Like, take a break from the news and try that. My challenge for you would be try a 3-day news fast. Like, stop all news for 3 days. Like, don't check it. It's going to be so weird. Why? Because you might be addicted to it. Yes, you can be addicted to the bad news. It produces adrenaline, it kind of peps you up. It's like a cup of coffee. And missing that, you miss that drama. It's like it's exciting, right? Even if you've heard of doom scrolling, right? So it's a real thing to be addicted to the news. So stop watching the news, give that a try. And the next thing I would say is do like a social media audit. Look at all your accounts. What are the accounts, people that you follow, etc.? What are the ones that give you a good feeling? And what are the ones that are into drama and negativity and or even just make you feel bad? It's okay to like unfollow that stuff, right? It's okay to do that. Like it really is. And again, I just think that the power of looking at a bright, colorful, shiny screen with nice audio and, super quick edits is unbelievably addicting. You got to be really careful about what you take in. And either definitely take a diet from the news, but if you want to replace it, start listening to some real positive podcasts. Start looking at just nice, happy social media stuff, and notice how it just really changes your overall vibe. Because I was looking at some dramatic news and all this crap, and I found myself really thinking negatively, and I caught my negative self-talk. I said to myself, like, wow, I haven't talked this way to myself in a long time. Like, this is bad. And it was a direct result of my social media and news intake. Okay, the next strategy I have for you is a morning daily gratitude exercise. You could also do prayer if that works for you too. But the point is waking up the first thing in the morning and writing down 3 things that you're grateful for and pause and reflect on it. It doesn't have to be super profound. Um, I've been doing this practice for probably 4 years now, and it works. And by the way, I skipped it for a couple days last week, probably like 4 days, and boy, I'm telling. What my point here is, it really has an effect on you if you start your day intentionally, proactively, focusing on positivity and gratitude. It changes the vibe in your body and also trains your brain to start actually actively seeking out positive aspects and positive things in the world. It's an antidote to always searching for negativity. And again, you can use prayer, you can use whatever works for you to get you started on the right foot, and do it first thing in the morning. The next thing I would suggest, you can use this, especially athletes can use this, it's a power posture. I've talked about this before. There's science behind this too, so that if you hold a powerful, confident posture for, say, more than a minute, this is like puffing out your chest, breathing in, putting your head up high, kind of like a Superman or Wonder Woman pose. And it may look silly, but it actually works. You are not actually able to feel negative or depressed if you're in this posture for more than a minute. You get this feedback going in your body, and you actually start to feel powerful. I would highly suggest you try this, and you can experiment and see if it has an effect. I would do it first thing in the morning after your gratitude. I would also do it right before you go to bed in the evening. Again, it's 1 minute, so do it, after you brush your teeth. Make it a habit. And if you want to add even more power to this, especially for athletes. You can try this power posture before a competition. Hold this power posture for a minute or so, or maybe even a little bit longer, and replay in your mind a victory from the past, or something that you're proud of, or something or someone that makes you happy. And you couple this together, the memory and the visualization plus the power posture, and you hold that and you breathe in, right? You do that, and I'm telling you, it puts you in a completely different headspace, zone, vibration. That's another thing you can do on a daily basis to train yourself to vibrate at this higher positive frequency. Another thing you can do, and actually I did this today, grocery shopping, is a daily act of kindness or a random act of kindness. And what I did is I saw somebody coming out of the grocery store. I could have kind of squeezed in before them. I was coming in, they were coming out. But I stood aside and I kind of made a gesture like, yeah, go ahead. And this woman, she smiled. I smiled. I said, have a nice day. Super simple. Made me really feel good. Made her feel good, I think. So the more you can do that on a daily basis, the better. The whole point of all these strategies I'm giving you is to train your brain, your body, mind, heart, soul to vibrate and focus on positivity. There's tons of it in the world. We just don't necessarily notice it. So if you start looking for it, it's really going to, I'll just get down to brass tacks here for athletes. It's going to improve your self-talk. It's going to prevent and stave off burnout if you're more positive and you're not tricking yourself. You're just actually focusing on reality, but more on the positive bent. It's also going to help you during competition because you're going to be less focused on what could go wrong and more focused on what could go right. Okay, so this has a lot of benefits. I hope you try this stuff. I've been doing this for a while, and like I said, I usually walk the walk, but recently I fell off the path and I really noticed it. And the biggest culprit was the news and social media. Okay, so let me review real quick again. Peer group, try to hang out with more positive people in general. The news, social media, right? Try the news fast, adjust your social media, daily gratitude or prayer in the morning, the power posture with the visualization, and then the random daily acts of kindness. Okay, so that's it. A little bit different episode today, and I'm really hoping it helps you. I know it helped me kind of readjusting myself recently. So that is it. Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you next time.